What's up, Bucked Up? Have you guys reached a plateau in your fat loss journey? Are there just a couple extra pounds or body fat percent points clinging on that won't let go? Well, by the end of this video, we're going to show you how to kick the fat to the curb and get rid of it for good, or actually better than the curb, kick it into the furnace so you can live that like lean, shredded lifestyle. And some of these tips, some of you aren't going to like.
Now, if you remember, last week we did a video that was 3 tips for weight loss. When it comes to fat loss, it's completely different. So for weight loss, we really focused on calories in versus calories out. When it comes to fat loss, though, it's not just calories in, calories out. When you're trying to lose weight, you could probably eat 1,000 calories of straight popcorn a day and lose weight. But when it comes to fat loss, you can't do that. If you try, you'll probably just end up skinny fat. If you want to really get rid of the fat, really get lean and shredded, you have to start paying attention to the quality of the nutrients you're eating, the quantity of the nutrients you're eating, and the time of day that you're eating those nutrients.
So that's what comes in first, is you really have to start focusing on nutrients. The thing is, like Cam was saying, it's calories obviously are always going to be a thing, but if you've reached this point in your fat loss journey, you should kind of already have an idea of how calories work, as well as realistically how macronutrients work. But the thing is, what got you here is not what's going to get you to the next stage in your fitness. Starting off with actually prioritizing effective macros, how would you define effective? I mean, obviously protein.
Right. So some people might not even know what macros are. Macros: protein, carbs, fat. Which ones of those you're eating and what time of day you're eating them and how much of all of them you're eating is so important when it comes to this stage of your fitness journey.
Yeah. And we won't give an exact number on a lot of these things because everyone's different. And that's kind of another thing that when you start doing it, don't be afraid to play with the nutrients and the nutrient timing. I usually always go about 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per lean body mass for myself personally. And carbs, I personally, if I'm going way more for strength and performance, lately I've been liking more complex carbs. But I was before, but I used to do it where I would fast and then I would do my carbs after, because I would get a spike in, growth hormone that can help a lot with muscle growth and fat loss. And so there's really not many, there are wrong ways, but there are a lot more right ways than there are wrong ways once you're to this point.
Right. So I would say across the board, no matter who you are, prioritizing protein and making sure you're getting enough protein it's important for everybody. However, the fats and the carbs, you can play around with a little bit more. My body is one that I like to eat a lot of protein. And then for me, what works better is to do more fat and a little bit lower carbs. Now, again, everybody's different. You might be someone that likes to prioritize your protein and then do higher carbs and lower fat. Everyone's going to be different, but don't be afraid to play around and see what works best for you. However, with that, you want to make sure that you're not adjusting so much that you can't really tell what's working and what's not working. So if you're making changes to your diet, do that for a week, maybe 2 weeks, so that you can really pinpoint what adjustments you need to make, and then make that adjustment and then try that again for a week or 2. This is where you're really fine tuning in order to get the fat loss that you want.
And on the note of fine tuning, when she says fine tuning, I just want to emphasize fine tuning. A lot of people will make even more drastic changes to their diet and their training when they get to that next stage, the last 10 pounds, last 5-6% percentage points. And that is absolutely the worst thing that you can do for your progress. I mean, there are worse things, but like it's not good for your progress at all if you're going that extreme when you get to this point.
Right. Another thing to touch on when it comes to all your nutrients, pay attention to the time of day that you're eating and consuming specific nutrients. Like again, for me, I know like this morning, it was leg day. So last night, I know my leg day is going to be better if I have more carbs for dinner the night before. So don't be afraid to adjust those as well. The macros that you're eating throughout the day and how that's going to affect your training. Now, if I was doing shoulders first thing in the morning, I'm fine to have a lower carb meal at night and I can still hit my shoulders and they're going to feel great. But for me, specifically for legs, I'm going to get the best results if I have more carbs the night before.
Yeah. Speaking of, what Cammie's talking about practicing is effective training, which fueling your body according to your goals, and actually giving it fuel for your training instead of not giving. If she knows that she has better legs days with more carbs the night before, then she should and she doesn't need them as much. She can back off and tweak on the carbs and the calories for her shoulders day, and it equals out throughout the nutrient whole. She would still be in about a deficit or a body recomposition caloric intake.
Right.
By switching up according to the days instead of just constantly going too hard with not enough fuel.
Right.
Eventually that's just going to lead to diminishing returns.
I think sometimes we think I have to hit this calorie or macro target in the day. And sometimes you can have a little less calories and macros one day if that lines up with your training, and then a little bit more the next day if it lines up with your training. Now, again, in our weight loss video, we talked about just kind of some general exercise things, but here when it comes to fat loss, it's a little different.
Yeah. So to start, effective reps. Effective reps means the closer you get towards reaching muscle failure, the more effective those reps are. You're going to have more muscle fiber recruitment, and which just results in better workouts and muscle stimulus. So when because if you tear a muscle fiber, then your body has to utilize calories and protein, and there's hormonal changes that go on that are great for fat loss as well. And so take your training closer to failure, if not to failure and beyond. That way you can trust that you're training hard enough and you don't have to hold yourself back by doing stupid things like training way too much and doing way too much cardio and cutting your calories so low because you don't trust your training. That's where effective training is great. And a lot of people are not having effective training because they don't have the fuel and they're doing way too much cardio, and you're screwing yourselves over, period. So yeah, there was that. I got off a little bit of a rant there. But
you have opinions on this one, obviously.
I do have opinions on this one. You guys would see better results if you didn't do so much cardio.
Which this actually is kind of perfect because it segues into our third topic, which you guys, this is one that you might not consider, but learning to trust your body, listen to your body is extremely crucial at this stage of your journey. You have to be paying attention and listen to what your body's saying. If your body's screaming at you and hates everything that you're doing and you're stressing it out because you're overtraining, or under eating or doing too extreme of things, you're hindering your results more than helping.
Yeah, it's just and I know that we love our grind hustle culture these days, but it's a very counterintuitive way of getting the results you actually want because you're just continuing to hurt your body and you're not letting it work for you. The base metabolic rate, however many calories someone needs in a day, that's not just suggestion. Our bodies do need fuel. And so if you're cutting your calories down to like 1,200, and then your training's probably going to get piss poor pretty quick, and then you're adding on 2 hours of cardio, then like not just like steady state cardio, like HIIT, which should never be done for 2 hours. That's crazy. But yeah, it's just, you're setting your body up for failure. Why not set it up for actual success?
Right. So listening to your body, trusting your body, giving it time to recover. Now, we have awesome supplements here at Bucked Up that will help you with recovery. We have awesome supplements really for the entire journey. When it comes to your macros and your micronutrients, we have things like protein powder and greens and supplements to support your journey in case you aren't getting enough of that in your standard diet. When it comes to your workouts and being more effective with your training, especially for fat loss, LFG.
Hands down.
The way. Like, go with the LFG. And also the Berry Blast flavor is my favorite. But LFG all the way, because that is a pre-workout, but then it also has a fat burner in it. So that's going to help you with those results.
So 3 clinically trademarked fat burners in there.
Yes. And then this last tip that's like listening to your body, being more intuitive with your body, making sure your body has time to recover. Awesome supplements to help you with your recovery. Multivitamins. We have BCAAs. We have chill, no chill, sleep support. Like, so many incredible supplements to help you on your way, right?
Yeah, I would say that's very accurate. We are kind of the best supplement company in the industry. I'm allowed to say that, right?
Absolutely.
I can say FDA is not going to get mad at me for just stating the obvious.
It's just facts.
Yeah.
Science.
That's not a claim. That's science,
that's
bro.
That's actual facts.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments below. But we hope that you enjoyed this video. If there's anything else that you want to see from us, any questions that you have about weight loss, fat loss, or supplements or anything else on your journey to be your very best self, let us know. And until next time, peace.
Peace out. Nailed it.